welcome to an emergency edition of the Record Rangers podcast. My name's Andy Newport.
Crisis meeting.
I'm joined by Scott McDermott. Here we are this morning at Prague Airport. We've had to push the emergency button, Scott, after Rangers suffered a Conference League catastrophe, losing to Jablonec of the Czech Republic on penalties. A really grim, depressing night for Derek McInnes, who you've got to say is now 7 games into his reign under real pressure as Rangers manager. Yeah,
it was a major low point, Andy, you have to say, almost a new low. When you think of the kind of European heights that Rangers have hit in recent years. To go out of the Europa League was bad enough at the playoff stage, but to go out of the Conference League to a team, with all due respect, like Jablonec, I think 4th or 5th best team in the Czech Republic. We were obviously there last night. You know, look at that ground, 5,000 or 6,000 people there. I mean, it wasn't exactly an intimidating venue for Rangers to go to with a 1-0 lead. But you're right, when you talk about emergency situation, Derek McInnes will certainly feel like that this morning when he looks at the performance of his players last night. It was completely inept. An abysmal display really from start to finish, right through the 90 minutes and then extra time, and then obviously summed up with two penalty misses. Even when it looked as if they had the advantage in the penalty shootout, they still managed to throw that away as well. So no, you're right, it's I didn't think we'd be having this conversation so early in Derek McInnes' Rangers reign, but he is now under serious pressure, and when you look at the run of games he's got coming up, Aberdeen away, Falkirk away, Motherwell at home, and then a double header against Celtic, it's not going to get any easier anytime soon.
But for me, I mean, we've been in this cycle repeatedly in terms of covering Rangers and getting a summer of a big change, a lot of players coming in, and then inevitably when the excrement hits the fan only a few games into the season, the pressure would go on the manager. But for you, is it a case of the sacking Derek McInnes change anything? Is there fundamental issues at the club that are still going to exist?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether Derek McInnes is the manager or not?
No, for me, look Andy, I mean, cards on the table, we like Derek McInnes. I've always liked him. I was a big advocate of him getting the Rangers job in the first place, and it's been a horrendous start for him, but I have to stand by that, and I think you're right, there are deeper issues at the club. You can talk about the organisation at the club, you can talk about recruitment.
For me, recruitment's the big issue.
You can talk about decision making.
You can't be signing 28 players over the space of 12-13 months and not point fingers at that. I mean, Rangers have signed now with Min-Soo Kim coming in. This is now they're on to the 12th new signing of the window. And Rangers somehow look worse than they did last year. And last year you said that when they brought in 12 players under Russell Martin, he said somehow that team looked worse than the team that Barry Ferguson ended on before, which at that point was being derided as the worst in living memory. Now Rangers have, from those kind of heights, have plummeted even further.
Derek McInnes has made mistakes, Andy, since he's come in. I think he'd be honest enough to own up to that as well. But as you say, we're in this cycle again. I mean, at what point do players start taking responsibility for these performances? They had an opportunity last night to go and secure group stage football in Europe with a 1-goal lead, albeit the competition Rangers don't really want to be in, but it's still worth something financially to the club in terms of the stats on status of the club, and they produce that type of performance. I mean,
timid, tepid, laboured, lifeless.
Yeah, and the starting 11 last night, I don't think many Rangers fans would have argued with Derek McInnes' team selection. They could have maybe picked one or two that you might have changed. The performance that they produced was completely unacceptable, and there are players there. I'm talking about the basics. I'm talking about passing for A to B. I'm talking about putting a shift in, running, closing people down, looking interested, looking hungry, and as if you've got an appetite to actually go and win a game and do something for Rangers. Far too many of these players already aren't doing that. Now listen, people could say, well, that's, is that down to the manager? What? No, they know buying into him. How many managers are we going to, without what I'm going to anywhere, I'm going to say without like pick out certain individuals, guys like Tokci Chukwueze and Telo Asgard and people like that, they look disinterested again for another Rangers manager, and these are guys that they saunter about the pitch as if they've achieved stuff in the game and they're serial winners. They've achieved nothing at Rangers, absolutely nothing.
For me, those are the type of guys that embody this, kind of image that they think that they've come to Rangers and they've made it. They've got the big money moves, they're earning cracking salaries. They've got the Instagram account showing everything that they're doing with off the pitch. Yet without actually realising that by the time they reach a club the size of Rangers, with the demand, with the pressure there, this is where the hard work actually begins.
Yep.
You need to go again. You need to reach levels you've not reached before. And too many of them, if anything, have actually allowed their levels to drop from the levels that got them to Rangers. Telo Asgard, a guy that so highly rated down in England, spells at Luton, Wigan, came to the club with this reputation as being somebody who could be a difference maker. Apart from the odd fleeting moment, it's been an utterly underwhelming signing. Tokci Chukwueze along with Ryan Nadiri were signed last January to be the guys that won Rangers the league. They ended up being the guys that
lost in the league.
They were in a team that crumbled. So I think again, Rangers have made a big thing about clearing out last year's leadership group, but what they haven't done is get rid of the guys that weren't considered leaders last year. And I think we're maybe surprised that these guys aren't able to dig the team out of a hole. I mean, for me that's kind of obvious. These weren't even the guys that were regarded as the leaders in a failing team. So I think the big concern is that you brought in 12 new players and they've not made a difference either. And I think now you're going to see, obviously, Minsu Kim come. You'd think he'll be thrown straight in against Aberdeen at Pittodrie. You're thinking, if they can get Kevin Kelsey signed up over the weekend, he'll come in maybe for Falkirk on Wednesday. But I think the real danger for these guys is that they're going to be the ones that the fans now turn to as, can they be the saviour? Can they be the ones that turn this around? And let's be honest, these are two young players that none of us know if they're going to succeed here. And they're costing an awful lot of money. And we saw the pressure that, say, Yusuf Trimiti last year came under when he came in under such a huge fee. It took him a while to adjust to, just to get himself fit again, having not played much at Everton, but to again adjust to the expectation levels at Ibrox. Yet again, Rangers are in a position where they need these guys to come in and hit the ground running.
But it can't constantly be about the next guy coming in, the next guy coming. It's all about these two players. Can they turn it around? It's got to be a collective effort, and
Derek McInnes, the players that are here already need to want to be better.
And listen, I'll be honest, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Derek McInnes is, the amount of opportunities that he's given some of these players, because it's clear that he can't trust them to produce a performance that's worthy of the Rangers jersey. And maybe last night was a kind of watershed moment for him in that sense, and that's why Sunday's game at Aberdeen is going to be so interesting to see who he relies on, who he picks in that starting 11 to somehow try and get him a result at Pittodrie, which is going to be hugely difficult. We all know about the nature of that fixture, what it means to both clubs, how tough Rangers find it going up there at times. He is quickly, in the next couple of days, got to try and work out his own head the guys that he can trust to put in a performance. And at the moment, there's no many of them, but I would suggest guys like I think Lawrence Shankland, who has been out the team obviously despite being captain, and admittedly he is not in a good place at the moment in terms of his form. I think he still needs a run of games because he's still the best striker they've got.
He's also a player that you're not going to get the best out of him just giving him 20 minutes here and half an hour there. He needs to get into a run of form.
Exactly. I think obviously Conor Barron, who we've been led to believe in the last couple of weeks is kind of free to find another club, free to go. However, when it comes to domestic football, I think he's proved the last couple of years that he can do a job for you. So does Derek McInnes turn to him for the start on Sunday? I think there's every chance he will. And even somebody like Nico Raskin, who didn't even make this trip to Czech Republic because Derek McInnes told us on Wednesday that there was real interest in him. It sounded as if Raskin was on the verge of a move, but yet last night reveals that there's no bids in for him, so there should be no real reason why he doesn't play at Pittodrie. So it's going to be so interesting on Sunday. I don't want to say it's last chance saloon for Derek McInnes, but
that wins a win.
There's every chance that Celtic go 8 points clear in the league on Saturday after a few games. If Rangers don't win at Pittodrie, they're in serious trouble, and he's in serious trouble as manager. You would have to think, given the club's recent history, changing managers. Personally, I think it's still far too early, and I do not see the point in the notion of changing the manager again so early on. But by God, does he need a couple of results pretty quickly?
Well, listen, you can keep up to date with everything that happens over the weekend, especially at Pittodrie. Scott's going to be going up there. We thank our
skiving again.
Yeah, I'll get the weekend off.
When the going gets tough.
I'll no doubt get the hit with the January trip to Pittodrie or whatever it is, and the depths of winter.
At least Derek McInnes can rely on me to turn up Sunday.
Well, as I say, you can keep up to date everything happening at Pittodrie this weekend on Record Sport Online and in the paper. We thank our sponsors NordVPN, and we will see you next time.